too close. That look better. Yeah, that look better. What you do? Oh, okay. Yeah, that look a whole lot better. Ooh, y'all got dressed up. I can't pull myself to do it. I ain't going nowhere. Thank you. Really? Well, we have to. That's our new normal for right now. That's too close to my face. Okay. Okay. Well, I had a lot of stuff coming up, but I don't know what's gonna happen now. Okay. Y'all made me go put on a coat or something. Look, a coat. Look, a jacket. Nope. I'm finna go right back out the door when I get done. Yes. And me and my daughter got a competition going though. She done dared me. She done dared me. Cause she 23. Yeah, so she do like DoorDash and all that stuff. So she said I was too good to do it. So I was like, what you mean I'm too good to do? Yeah, so now I'm in a competition with her. Really? And I'm like, I can do this. What you mean I'm too good to do this? How dare you fix your mouth to say something like that? So now we in competition now. So I challenged her. I was like, make $150 a day. Okay. Florida, Mississippi. Hmm. Hi. Thank you so much. Listen, I had a praying grandmother. That listen, I'm still existing off some of those prayers. Well, it was just basically getting pregnant at such a young age. You know, people didn't want their daughters around me. Um, and I was even ashamed at one point. I didn't want to go around my grandmother's friends. And she was like, if you don't come on here, she said, I ain't worried about what them people have to say. You know, you ain't the first to get pregnant and you won't be the last. And so, you know, it was just that, just being ashamed, you know. But my daughter changed my life, so I wouldn't change anything. No, I was gonna stop anyway. Me getting pregnant made me go back. So that's how I ended up. I wouldn't have graduated if I hadn't got pregnant. I know that for a fact. 16. Mm-hmm. Well, domestic violence is something that I kind of made my niche, so to speak. I just think everybody should be able to live free from abuse. And so if I could help, you know, save and change one life, then I'm on the right track. It's just me basically answering the calling that I feel God placed upon my life. Um, and I remember having this talk with him some years back, and I told him if I made it to my 35th year of life, that I would step outside of myself, um, put my pride aside, and tell my story to help somebody else, because I do realize that a lot of the things that I faced in life were not for me. It's not about me. It's for me to overcome and to help someone else. The first one was almost 7 years, and the second one was 2. The first one was physical, and the second one was just narcissistic abuse. Oh, wow. Yes, it is. Yes. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Like my grandmother used to say, you have to run on anyhow. I did. I did. I just got to a point where I just didn't care anymore. Like, I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in. I wasn't a part of the cliques and all of that. I just did not fit in. And my grandmother told me something long ago, and she was just like, you came here by yourself, and you're probably gonna leave here by yourself. You got to keep on living. You got a race to run. Your race is not the next person's race. So along this journey called life, it's gonna be times you're gonna have to run alone. And so I had to, I had to accept that. And, because I would always, go out of my way to try to do everything I could for everybody else. And, she was just like, you can't want more for another person than they want for themselves. And so that was checkmate, like, okay, I heard her, but I still would go out of my way trying to help, everybody. And I just got to a place where I didn't, it's cool. If I don't fit in if I can't sit at your table, that's fine. I have my own table. I'll sit over here. Right. And that's something she always said, he will make, he'll make a table for you in the presence of your enemies. He'll also make your enemies your footstool. So, just keep going. She said, keep on living, baby. You ain't seen nothing yet. Keep on living. And so that's what I vow to do every day. Just run on anyhow. Listen, I always talk about my grandmother because I wouldn't be the woman I am today if it had not been for her. I know that wholeheartedly. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Unconditional love at its finest. Her and my aunt. Yes. Right. Okay. Let me tell you how that happened. I don't know if y'all seen the Lifetime show called Bring It. Okay. Well, Coach D, Diana, Diana is one of my friends. So, she had the dancing dolls, of course, and my daughters just came out of nowhere. I had 2 stepdaughters at the time, and I still have them, but not the relationship. But anyway, so they love to dance, and so they were gonna all go try out for the dancing dolls, and I was like, okay. And so they were in the car just chatting about I'm gonna make it. You think you're gonna make it? And I told my daughter, she was like, Mom, I don't think I'm gonna make it. And I'm talking about, she made herself learn how to dance. She had never thought about dancing, but she wanted to do what they were doing. And she became so good at it. And she went, and I told her before we went in, I said, girl, you got this. I said, if you don't make it, we'll start our own team. And lo and behold, she didn't make it. And I was like, Lord, I done put my foot in my mouth this time. I had to come through. But we had an amazing 2-year run. We did some things in that first year that, a lot of people hadn't done in, a few years. And, that's something Diana said to me. She was like, she called me Stubbs at the time. That was my married name. She was like, Stubbs, you did it. And I remember when I got ready to walk away, I told her, I said, D, I said, it's a difference between quitting and knowing when to walk away. And, this is just too much for me. Because it just got to a point where everything I bought, everything I purchased, I always lived my little good life now. Parents were attacking me. I'm using their money now. The same parents who wasn't paying no dues, taking their children along just, what I'm saying, not to say you can't go. And so it was just getting to a point, and then, the chatter at practices and stuff like that. And mind you, I still have my daughter that's a part of this. So, it was just one of those things, I better walk away from this. I ain't where I should be, but I thank God I ain't who I used to be. So it was just one of those situations. I was like, but D, you built for this. I said, you keep going, and look where she ended up. And I couldn't have been more proud. Oh, my daughter, no, she's not dancing now. She's in college though, but she's not dancing. Yes. That's right. Right. Thank you. Yes. So I definitely had to do that, for her. And I mean, we went to Houston, we won championships and stuff. So it was great. I enjoyed it. I had fun and I love to dance. So yeah. Too late. Well, December 22nd, 2016, I was living life, living my dream, doing everything, I wanted to do. Um, and my best friend died. And it's just like floating in the air, just enjoying life. And like just snatch you, just snatch you down. And through that, I didn't realize, I mean, we all know that, death affects us, but I didn't know that her death would affect me the way that it did. I became very depressed. Um, to a point where I could not even put one foot before the other to just get out of bed. So 2017 and 2018, 2017, I was depressed, and in 2017 is when I met the narcissist. So 2018, I was even more depressed because, of course, the mask has fallen off by this time. And so, I went to an extreme high and dropped back down to an extreme low. And so I didn't speak. I didn't do anything. And I made a decision. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, but I made a decision December 31st, 2018, that I was going to take my life back. And January 1st, 2019, that's exactly what I intended to do. And so this lady, she had a book collaboration going on. And the name of the book was Bounce Back on Purpose. And I was like, okay, let me jump on that. It just fitted my life at that moment. And so my title was pretty much inspired by just saying, I just hope I'm not too late. I was gone for 2 years, and it was somebody that needed to hear me, somebody that needed to hear my story, somebody needed to know that they could make it. Some little girl that needed to understand that, just because you went through that as a child, you can still make it. And so my voice was missing for 2 years. So, as I come back and, I even asked God to forgive me. This is a calling you placed on my life, and I told you that I would honor that call. And yet, I fell down for 2 years. And so, that was just me coming back saying, hey, I just hope I'm not too late. Well, it came from the song, what's her name? Give Me You. I can't think of her name. You know what I'm talking about? And, I just hope I'm not too late. It is. And let me tell you how I got a hold of that song. I was watching something on Facebook one day, and there was a girl in the beauty shop. Everybody probably seen that. She was in the beauty shop trying to get her hair done, and she started singing. And she was singing that song. The song called Give Me You, but in the song, she says that I just hope I'm not too late. Yeah, that's exactly who sing. And so it just, yes, indeed. That's right. I do. I do. I kept putting it off. I turned 35 in 2014. Um, and I was gonna, say it then, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna just wait till next year. 2015 rolled around. It was October 9th. 9 years to the date. And from when I was standing in the bedroom with a 9mm to my head. So I was in Mississippi. As a matter of fact, I was in Mississippi, and my friends were headed to the bar, the sports lounge, and they kept calling me like, "Where you at? Where you at?" But the whole time I was sitting there just typing. I was sitting at my friend's house, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this tonight. And so before I went out, I was dressed. I'm talking about I had on everything. I was good, ready to go. But I was sitting there just typing. And I didn't put it on my personal Facebook page. I posted it to my my LoveYuna Outreach page on Facebook. And I had no idea that it would take off the way it did. And, you know, so many people reached out to me. And I was like, wow. And so it started being shared just over and over and over and over again. And I was talking to my best friend one day, and I was like, what you doing? And he was like scrolling on Facebook, and I was like, well, me too. I said, I'm about tired of seeing me. He was like, me too. He was like, every scroll is you. And I was like, wow. I said, I really didn't even say anything though. And he was like, well, you obviously said enough. And so it was, and I tell people all the time, it's just a synopsis of my story. It'll take me too long to tell it all. Right. 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 And I was just, yeah, I was just amazed because I was like, wow, like, you know, and that's just what I wanted to do. Like, if I could just help one person, you know, I know that I'm on the right track and on the right path. Right. 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 I know. Oh my goodness. This has been a lot. That's why I said I can't even dress up. Like when I put my clothes on, I gotta step out the door. Like it is. Love Yana. Yana. LoveYuna Outreach. That's okay. I have had some people to reach out. But again, I guess it's kind of hard when you're quarantined at home with that person. And I know firsthand being there, you know, watching your every move. You take your phone in the bathroom, you texting somebody else, or you know, it's just it's a lot. And so maybe they're not able to, you know, and you have to think about the people who have the financial issues may not have a car, so not getting out the house or going anywhere, doing anything. So, and work was probably their only escape. Because for me, I used to love to go to work. I went to school after, then I went to the gym, and still would get home and didn't want to get out the car. They don't. Yes. Cakes. It did. Case came about after I lost my best friend. I started to just bake and stuff, and it kept my mind. I learned how to cook. My grandmother taught me. I was always in the kitchen watching her do everything. So I can cook and I can bake. So I so I just started baking and putting them in jars. So I sell cakes in a jar. So I just started putting them in jars and selling them, and people just kind of fell in love with them. So it just kind of, took off like that. And as far as growing up and, the bullying and stuff like that, it did add some aggression. It did add some aggression. And that's why my family, if they find it hard to believe that I was in a physically abusive, relationship. My cousin was like, I believe you went through it because you said it. And I know you wouldn't lie about something like that. She was just like, but as your cousin, I've never seen you backed in a corner that you couldn't come out of. And I was like, because I guess you can just say I traded my self-worth to have someone to say they love me. Oh yeah. Fighting on the inside because you're trauma bonded at this point. It's a trauma bond. It's a whole bunch of things that's going on emotionally and mentally that not even you understand at the time. You just get to a breaking point. Praying to get back to day one. Praying to get back to day one. You trying to get back to when it was when it was good, but see, it was never good. They had a mask on. So it was never good. You're never gonna get back there. You're basically steady filling this glass and it's running out the side. It's never gonna fill up. It's not. So I said that to say I've been with the narcissist the whole time. It's just that it was physical abuse. So, somebody's going to physically abuse you. It's not strange, for someone to verbally and, emotionally abuse you. But when it was just the narcissistic abuse alone, it was worse than the physical abuse. So I was able to educate myself and, figure out everything I needed to know and understand that there are people that exist in this world for the sole purpose of hurting others. Yeah, so I was able to identify, but that relationship helped me though, because I was able to identify a lot of people in my life that treated me a certain way, and I could not understand it. Like, if I can't help you, I will never try to hurt you. And I just could not understand for the life of me, how some people think. Like, I just really want to open some people's head up. Like, why did you, where did that come from? How did you come up with that? I'm like, literally, like, how did you come up with that? I just want to understand I want to understand how you got there. What made you, like, what were you thinking? So I just don't understand it sometimes. Right. Right. Yep. Right. And they can't hide now. They definitely can't hide now. Not at all. And I tell, this is my little saying now. If you can spot the narc, you can save your heart. Correct. All the time. All the time. I mean, people, they come to me and just want to understand, what's going on. And actually, this past week, I had to advocate for somebody very, very dear to me. I knew it because after I educated myself, I knew what it looked like. But I also knew that because they didn't know and they didn't understand, that I couldn't say anything until they came to me. Then I could break it down. And now, that person has a clear understanding. And, it's just a whole different ball game now. Because once you get that understanding and you realize and you see what's going on, it's a whole nother playing field. It's not that easy at all. No, not at all. And I don't know who coined the phrase that words don't hurt. That's a lie. They do. And they can do more damage than physical abuse. Right. Right. Well, I didn't want them to feel judged. I didn't want them to feel judged. I just let them know that, hey, I recognized, I saw it, and I just broke it all the way down, play by play. I'm talking about, that they go from one extreme to the next. And she was able to identify all those things. And it made sense to her. And so that's just it. Right. 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 Well, I tell women all the time to not, I don't care if your friend girl call you 11 times talking about the same thing. One day she's going to call and tell you I'm tired. One day she's going to call and say, I've already rented the U-Haul. I've already, got the lease to the new place. I got my business in order. Let's, he out of town. Let's do this. That day will come. But give them the space to vent. And it's known that most women go back. They leave 7 times. I left by 9. Well, my whole thing, I already knew that I needed, especially this last situation, I knew that I just needed strength to walk away. I just had to find the strength to walk away. I knew that it wasn't going to lead to marriage because I wasn't going to say I do, because I've seen that before. I just had to, deal with the shame and the everything I had put out there. I like, dang, I messed up again. Time wasted, but I had my head down when he found me. So I was in the valley. Very vulnerable. I was in the valley. I was in the trenches. What? I had a guy tell me that men can smell pain on a woman. Like, really? Wow. Girl, listen, you better listen. What was I thinking? But I was so low in that moment, I probably would have hooked up with, I don't know. I was so low in that moment, I just needed something. Some, just, that had to be it. Because you're right. I look back, and I'm like, what in the world? And I said it to him one day. I looked him dead in the face, and I was like, how far have I fallen off in life to allow you to talk to me like this? Like, because I'm a person that I can look in the mirror and see that I'm beautiful. I don't need somebody to validate that for me. So it wasn't that. It was just everybody want to be loved. And but it's just one of those things. Now I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay. It's okay. Look, it's okay. Right. Right, because you have to do what? You have to run on anyhow. That's it. That's it. You got to run on to see what the end gonna be. There you go. You got to run on to see what the end gonna be. Keep on living. I have not to date. I'm trying to figure out how to structure that because I want it to be something that really helps, and just sometimes it's hard to rehash on certain things or for a child to even understand what they have witnessed, but knowing that something's not right. Because you ever heard that if a child don't like a person or something, I heard that long ago. If a child don't like a person, and I remember when I was with my mother, she had some guys I just did not like, and they were bad people. So, and that's normally, I tell women to pay attention to that too, because kids pretty much know. Like, they pretty much know. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. 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 Correct. Yeah, my mother and father was got tied up in the crack cocaine era between 88 and 90. So, yeah. So my mother had me at 16, and by 23, no, she was on drugs. No, no, my grandmother was there. She left me at my grandmother's house one weekend, and she moved to Chicago. So yeah, so definitely, no, my grandmother was always there. Right, that's right. Right. My daughter was in the other room. Yeah, my daughter was in the other room, and you know, I was in shock for one, because I couldn't believe what was happening, and I'm just like, oh wow, and Lord, it just can't end like this. Um, so just so much ran through my head, just because I watched my mom get beat, um, bloody, both ribs collapsed. Um, my auntie jumped from a two-story building, running from her abuser. So those things were running through my head like I've seen this before, and now it's me. So it's just, yeah, just trying to pray my way out of it, and I remain calm. I didn't. I mean, with a gun to your head, you all you can do is be calm for real, and pray this fool get some sense. It is. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. No. It's funny because I don't live my pain. I only talk about it when it's necessary. I don't get up in the morning thinking that, hey, I was molested when I was 5. It doesn't cross my mind on a daily basis because I forgave him a long time ago. And see, and that's that thing. I was just talking to somebody today about my relationship with my mother. I love my mother. I honor, respect, and love my mother wholeheartedly because she gave me life. Without her, I wouldn't be here. And not only that, my grandmother taught me to love my mother in her absence. So I don't have an issue there. So, I was taught how to forgive. I was taught why I was forgiven. I can't stay stuck. I could have self-destructed by the things I had been through. But God put me in a better situation where I had somebody molding me and loving me and showing me the way to go. I'm not going to say I wasn't hard-headed sometimes, but drugs and alcohol was never my thing. I don't do drugs. I don't even drink to this day. And people can't believe it. You don't drink nothing? I mean, like, what do you mean? I drink water. I drink sodas. I drink, what do you mean? I do drink some things. I just don't drink those things. Because I care not to be outside of myself. I like being Keyuna. I don't have a problem with me. So I don't need to get drunk or high or, I'm cool. But a person that cannot live that down, and I have realized that on this journey, even some women, they don't even mean to be the people that they are. But trauma is something a lot of people can't get past. And you have the negative Bettys and stuff that's always being mean to the next woman or, saying negative stuff, nasty things. And it's all because she's hurt. She hasn't figured out how to forgive Uncle Johnny for touching her. I can't stop my life worrying about the mistake that he made. He got to deal with God. He got to go to God for that. So I learned to release that. So they are. That's right. You do. You do. Yeah. I did blame myself at one point for the bad relationships because at the end of the day, this person did this. But I had to hold Keyuna accountable for putting myself in a position to allow myself to be, especially with this, with the last situation with the narcissistic abuse. I allowed him to disrespect me. I allowed him to mistreat me. I allowed him to talk to me crazy. And, I allowed that. So I knew I should have got up from the table. And I was talking to one of my friends. She just got out of a situation. She got up from the table because she wasn't being served what she was dishing out. And with tears in my eyes, I'm writing her and I'm texting her and I'm like, I'm so proud of you. I was like, you've motivated me. I said, do you realize you got up from the table? You got up and walked away from a table that I was too weak to get up from. Because I thought I always think I can fix something. But that's what empaths do. Because like I said, after this I had to figure out who I was and why I was attracting the same thing. So now I know. So I don't make those same mistakes. I'm able to look into some other situations and be like, that ain't right. But I'm going to be quiet. Right. Oh, I'm able to look into a whole nother person's situation. I can see them together and know that, that's not right. But it's all. But I've lived the facade, so I know what it looked like. So yeah. Oh yeah, you do. You definitely have to be that person that gets hired and just be done with it, and I think my last words in this last situation, my exact words were, pretend I'm dead. And when it gets to that point, you just go your way, but we might cross paths, but I definitely will cross the street. Just at that point, because I'm a good person and I always try to do good by people. And so when it gets to a point where I have to just totally cut a person off and not, deal with them, then it's okay. I deal with whatever you tell people, about me. It's okay. And I'm not even trying to defend myself to anybody. That's another thing. I let people believe whatever story they want to believe. Believe all of them. Oh, she crazy. I may have been. So, yes. But again, life goes on. You got to keep on running. Sometimes, just before all this extra education I just received, I did a lot. But after, on the other side of that, I'm just able to understand and know where they are. I can tell you where you are in this situation and what it's going to take for you to get out of it. So it's not as easy for me to, because I understand what's going on. It's different when you don't know. And I tell everybody to study this thing for themselves. Study it for yourself. Well, I'm trying to finish my book. My personal story. It's a 2-part series. The first one is a black diamond in the rough. So, I haven't always been Keyuna Faye Webster Empowerment for the Powerless. So I said the first book. The first book. Oh, some people gonna be clutching. Like, whoa. Whoa. So yeah, so that's it. And then the second one is the essence of a precious diamond. Yeah. So you had a black diamond in the rough in the beginning. I was misunderstood, confused. Then I didn't understand a lot of stuff. I didn't understand. Yeah, I figured out who I was. I embraced who I was. The dark skin, all that. Matter of fact, I had a lady tell me like a week ago. She was in the post office being so ugly, and this older lady, and she was just like, she called me ugly. She told me, she said, you need to concentrate on staying out the sun. And I was like, I like my skin color. I'm okay with me. But yeah, she was just being real ugly to the lady that worked there, and I happen to know the lady. And so I spoke directly to the lady and gave her certain instructions. And I don't think she liked it. So she felt like I was coming for her, and I was not. I've been knowing this lady 5 years because I come here all the time. And you're sitting there, and we're in a pandemic, and you're licking money and giving it to her. So I told her to put some gloves on. That's what I told her, to put some gloves on. And so the lady got mad. And she acted she acted up in the post office. And when she called me ugly, I just looked up and I said, Lord, in the post office, I'm like, Lord, I'm not who I should be. I know. But I thank you. Like, I'm praying in the middle of the post office. And the lady behind me, she was like, don't let the devil use you. She said, don't let the devil use you. And it was so funny. Like, when afterwards, but I had to take a minute out. I had to step outside. I had to catch my breath. I was like, Lord, woo, them tests will come. Yes. But he always tests you. So I'm just like, woo, Lord. I just wanted to go to the post office and ship some stuff. That was it. But it just bothered me to see her doing that to her. Right. Yeah, because it was so hard to watch, though. It was so hard to watch. Like, she's literally almost sticking her finger down her throat. And every bill, like, you don't even know where this money's been. And she was like, I have a real job. I'm an RN. And I was like, you got your mask on backwards. Oh, no. Yes. I'm against violence, period. I'm against any violence. My advice is to keep going, keep growing, and keep showing up for life. Don't stop. You'll get through it. Forgive that person, release them, forgive yourself, and move on. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. Don't let anybody hold you to your past. People can say a whole lot of stuff about me, about my past, but my past is the past. So you just move on with life. Right? Listen, they moved on to a new victim. They moved on to a new victim. It's just like you're gonna have to close that curtain because it's just a puppet show. It's a puppet show. It's all for show. They haven't changed. They're the same person they were when they were with you. If you're dealing with a narcissist, they're not changing. They're not changing because they're too afraid to face that person in the mirror that's on the inside of them, the person that they're running from. They can't deal with them. That's why the abuse is probably has spiked since we've been quarantined. There's a lot of folks sitting in the house have to deal with themselves. And it's hard to deal with yourself when you don't want to see you for who you really are. A narcissist knows deep down that they're broken, mean the next person no good. Women are narcissists too. And I mean, I don't do women empowerment per se. I do empowerment. Even the abusers, they need help. I wholeheartedly, I believe that they need help. They're hurting. And we always talk about, guys not growing up with their fathers and stuff like that. But what about the guys that didn't get the love from their mother that they needed? That's a hard guy to try to love. So when you're dating and you're getting to know people, find out how people was raised. Because everybody wasn't raised on love. Some people was raised on survival. And they're still in survival mode. And nope. The way love looks to them doesn't look the same to you. Their love language is not the same as your love language. Even though, I consider I'm broken, but I was raised on love. And that's the difference between a narc and an empath. They both had trouble, may have had, dealt with some trauma, but the narc became cold and evil. And the empath learned to compensate for the greater good of humanity. So because I was raised on love, I wasn't able to fall into that sunken place and become this cold and evil person. And I'm thankful for that. Yep, right at 7 years. I knew that I would not let anybody hit me again. So I was kind of reluctant from, trying to even be in a relationship because, well, I don't want to hurt nobody's child. Because I'm not going that route anymore. So, but when I went in, I was broken when I went in. I remember my best friend had died. I was in a low place. I wasn't looking at nothing, and I saw a lot of the signs. When I look back now, everything looked the same as that first relationship. But again, I just kept trying to, he's not hitting me, or, just kept making the excuses, and I was that same girl again, doing the same thing, making the same mistake. And when I finally got to a place like, I can't survive like this. I can't do this anymore. It was, the shame of trying to come out of it. Because people will label you, people say, I've heard people say, well, the common denominator in, all these relationships is you. Yeah, when you're attracting the same thing. So I tell people, don't let nobody put you in that bag either. The common denominator might be you in a room full of fools. So that's okay. You just get out of the room, figure it out, and move on. You're most welcome. Okay, I am Keyuna Faye Webster on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's KeyunaFayeWebster.org. LoveYuna Outreach is www.LoveYuna.org. Feel free, log on, make a donation. And my cash app is $mask up ATL. Cause on my downtime, I've been making masks and sending them everywhere. You're more than welcome. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. You're most welcome. Most welcome, definitely. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Right. Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Bye, everybody. Good night. Good night. You're welcome. Bye. All right, Facebook. I know y'all couldn't hear what they were saying because how I got my little stuff rigged up over here. But I'm gonna put the information in the comments. to go to their page and listen to the entire interview. So I appreciate y'all hanging in there with me. And y'all have a good night. Bye.